you ever wondered how a bunch of simple digital blocks managed to build a literal billion-dollar empire? I mean, how did a low-fidelity indie project, something that honestly looked kind of retro the exact day it was born, turn into a platform that fundamentally rewired the entire gaming industry? Well, let's dive right in. Welcome to This Explainer, where we're going to be tracing the evolution of a true gaming legend, Minecraft. We're going to explore exactly how giving players total unscripted freedom to create, explore, and survive transformed a tiny, obscure experiment into a global phenomenon that is still inspiring millions today. Section 1. Birth of a Legend and the Origins of Unlimited Creativity. It is honestly wild to think about, considering the massive global platform we know today, but back in May 2009, this whole thing was just a simple block-building sandbox, and it was created by exactly one Swedish developer, Marcus Persson, famously known as Notch. The very first playable version, dubbed Minecraft Classic, dropped on May 17, 2009. It definitely wasn't cooked up in some massive corporate studio. Instead, it drew heavy inspiration from relatively niche titles at the time, like Dwarf Fortress, Infiniminer, and Dungeon Keeper. But early players immediately latched onto its core mechanic, this feeling of unlimited creativity driven by incredibly simple building mechanics. Moving into Section 2, the indie explosion and rapid community expansion. So after that 2009 classic release, things ramped up at breakneck speed. By 2010, the community was expanding massively, and a lot of that was fueled by passionate online forums and early YouTube creators just showing off what they built. And the developer responded to that hype by rolling out massive, game-changing updates. We got survival mode, meaning you suddenly had hostile mobs and a ticking day and night cycle to stress about. We got a crafting system, multiplayer servers, and of course, redstone engineering, which literally let players wire up working machines inside the game. All of this momentum snowballed incredibly fast, leading straight into a massive milestone in late 2011, the official version 1.0 launch. When that official 1.0 launch hit the stage at Minecon on November 18, 2011, it packed a serious punch. This is when players were introduced to the End Dimension and the Ender Dragon boss, which finally gave this endless sandbox an actual endgame. Added enchantments, brewing, and a super punishing hardcore mode, and this scrappy little indie project had officially crossed the threshold into a bona fide global sensation. Which brings us to Section 3, the billion-dollar buyout, a truly historic deal. $2.5 billion. Just let that number sink in for a second. In September 2014, the trajectory of Mojang Studios changed forever when Microsoft acquired them for that staggering sum. And this wasn't just some massive payday for the creators, it completely secured the game's future. It injected the immense resources needed to guarantee continuous major updates, beef up multiplayer services, and most importantly, scale the game's reach way, way beyond its original core audience. All right, Section 4, building infinite worlds and expanding across platforms. Under Microsoft's wing, the game absolutely exploded beyond the PC. It quickly made its way onto almost every major gaming device you can think of. Windows, macOS, Linux, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Android, iOS, the whole shebang. But the true game changer here was the cross-platform support. Suddenly, if you were building a castle on your PlayStation, you could seamlessly connect and play with your friend who was surviving the night on an iPhone. Breaking down those traditional hardware barriers was a massive leap forward, not just for the game, but for the whole industry. And to keep hundreds of millions of players logging in year after year, Microsoft and Mojang committed to massive, free annual content updates. The blocky world didn't just sit still. Just look at the progression. In 2018, the update Aquatic completely overhauled the oceans with dolphins and shipwrecks. In 2020, the Nether update entirely transformed the game's underworld, introducing new biomes and creatures like piglins. And more recently, in 2023, the Trails and Tales update brought in stuff like archaeology and these stunning cherry blossom biomes. It just goes to show that this universe is in a constant, active state of evolution. And that leads perfectly into Section 5, Beyond the Screen, how it changed education and culture. This is where it gets super interesting because the impact here is truly mind-blowing. Through Minecraft education, schools around the world are literally using these digital blocks as teaching tools. We're talking hands-on, interactive problem solving for heavy subjects like programming, mathematics, engineering, history, architecture, and environmental science. Students aren't just memorizing facts from a chalkboard, they're learning deep teamwork and critical thinking skills by managing complex systems inside a digital world they already know and love. And the cultural footprint outside the classroom, it's just massive. Minecraft has fundamentally influenced digital art, real-world architecture, and especially online content creation. It's one of the most recognizable digital brands on the planet, fueling millions, probably billions, of YouTube videos and live streams. Literally entire careers in massive media empires have been built solely around watching people play this game. So wrapping our heads around this whole timeline, the sheer scale of the evolution is staggering. From a 2009 indie experiment built by a single developer to a massive official launch in 2011, right through to that historic Microsoft acquisition in 2014. Today, backed by hundreds of millions of copies sold, a fiercely dedicated modding community, and those vibrant annual updates, it stands undisputed as the best-selling video game of all time. So what's the ultimate takeaway from all this? It really boils down to one simple idea. In this game, the only limit is your imagination. Its enduring popularity perfectly demonstrates the raw power of creativity and collaboration. It makes you wonder, if a bunch of simple digital blocks can build a $2.5 billion educational and entertainment empire, what could you build with your own imagination today?